The moment you walk into PeakFit's flagship gym in Los Angeles, you expect energy, ambition, maybe even a little inspiration. But what if, behind the glossy machines and designer leggings, something much darker is lurking? What if the real story isn't about fitness at all but about humiliation, favoritism, and a toxic culture that could destroy everything? This isn't just another gym drama. This is the true story of a CEO who went undercover to expose the shocking bullying happening right under everyone's nose. What Alex Johnson uncovers will leave you speechless, and what happens next will change PeakFit forever. Ready to see what really goes on when the boss isn't watching? Hit play. Because you won't believe who gets fired. It started with a single post, a shaky cell phone video uploaded to TikTok by a young woman in tears, her voice trembling as she recounted what happened at PeakFit's flagship gym in Los Angeles. "They laughed at me in front of everyone," she said. "I just wanted to get stronger. I never thought I'd be humiliated like that." Within hours, the clip exploded, with hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of angry comments, and a tidal wave of one-star Yelp reviews. The accusations were ugly: body shaming, favoritism, trainers who cared more about Instagram followers than real people. The glossy image of PeakFit was cracking, and the world was watching. Alex Johnson watched, too. Sitting in his office, 30 floors above the city, he scrolled through the comments, each one hitting like a punch to the gut. He'd built PeakFit from nothing, a single basement gym, a dream, and a belief that everyone deserved a shot at feeling strong. Now, at 45, with 200 pounds of muscle and a reputation for fairness, he felt like he was losing control of everything that mattered. The board wanted a PR statement. The lawyers wanted silence. But Alex wanted the truth. So, he made a decision. One that would change everything. He'd go undercover, just like he did in the early days. No designer tracksuits, no VIP badge. Just a plain gray hoodie, $40 sneakers, and a day pass bought at the front desk. He'd see PeakFit the way a new member would, nervous, anonymous, and hoping for a little encouragement. The next morning, Alex parked his old Ford pickup a few blocks away and walked the last half-mile to the gym. The air was cool, barely 60-degree F, but inside, the lobby was buzzing with energy and the scent of eucalyptus and sweat. Neon lights glowed above the check-in desk. Brittany, the receptionist, barely glanced up as he approached. "Name?" she asked, tapping her acrylic nails on the counter. "Alex. Here for the trial week." She slid a clipboard across the polished marble. "Fill that out. Locker rooms are down the hall. Group classes are full, so don't bother asking." Alex nodded, feeling invisible. He glanced around rows of treadmills, walls lined with mirrors, clusters of fitfluencers, snapping selfies in the best lighting. Trainers in branded gear clustered around the regulars, laughing and flexing for the cameras. It was a far cry from the gritty, welcoming gym he'd started years ago. He headed to the locker room, where a nervous-looking man in his 50s struggled with a jammed lock. Alex offered a hand, and the man smiled in relief. "Thanks. First day. Feels like everyone's staring." "Don't worry," Alex said. "Everyone starts somewhere." But out on the gym floor, the reality was harsher. Jake and Chris, two of the most popular trainers, were holding court near the squat racks, surrounded by a group of VIPs in $200 leggings. When a new member, a woman in baggy sweats, hesitated near the group class door, Jake shot her a look. "This class isn't for beginners," he called out, loud enough for everyone to hear. Chris laughed, snapping a photo for his story. "PeakFit, only the strong survive." Alex's jaw tightened. He watched as the woman's face fell. Her confidence shattered. She slunk away, clutching her water bottle like a lifeline. Later, during a group workout, the drama escalated. Jake singled out a young woman struggling with the routine. "Come on, you're barely lifting 20 pounds. Maybe try the kids' class next time." Laughter rippled through the room. The woman's cheeks burned red as she blinked back tears and left, head down. No one stopped her except Samantha, a new trainer with kind eyes and a quiet strength. She followed the woman out, offering a gentle word and a steady hand. Alex watched it all, anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. He saw Brittany at the front desk, ignoring anyone who didn't look like a fitness model. He overheard Jake and Chris mocking clients in the staff lounge, sharing memes and inside jokes at the expense of the very people they were supposed to help. But he also saw hope. Samantha, despite the sneers from her colleagues, took time with every member showing a retiree how to use the rowing machine, encouraging a nervous teen to try a new class, and reminding everyone that strength wasn't just about muscle. By the end of the day, Alex's notebook was full names, incidents, patterns of behavior that painted a damning picture of what PeakFit had become. He listened to the cleaning crew, who shared stories of being ignored, underpaid, and treated like ghosts. He spoke with security, who'd seen trainers turn away anyone who didn't fit the brand. As Alex left the gym that night, the city lights flickered on, and the neon PeakFit sign glowed against the darkening sky. He knew what he had to do. The next steps would be painful confrontations, hard truths, and maybe even firings. But he owed it to every member who'd ever felt small, every employee who'd ever been overlooked, and to himself, the kid who once believed that gyms could change lives. This wasn't just about business. It was about respect, about dignity, about standing up when it would be easier to walk away. And tomorrow, Alex Johnson would walk back into PeakFit not as a stranger, but as the boss who refused to let bullying win. Stay tuned. You won't believe what happens next. The next morning, Alex Johnson woke up before sunrise, the Los Angeles skyline still cloaked in a sleepy haze. The air outside hovered at a brisk 62 degrees Fahrenheit, but inside, Alex felt a storm brewing. Yesterday's Undercover debut at PeakFit had rattled him more than he'd expected. He'd seen glimpses of the toxic culture whispered about on TikTok and Yelp, but he knew the surface had barely been scratched. Today, he was determined to dig deeper, to see just how far the rot had spread beneath the gym's shiny exterior. He dressed the same as before. Plain gray hoodie, faded jeans, $40 sneakers. No one would mistake him for the CEO. He wanted to blend in, to see what the average member saw and what they were forced to swallow. By 7 a.m., the gym was already buzzing. The hum of treadmills, the clang of weights, and the sharp scent of disinfectant filled the air. Neon lights flickered above the check-in desk, where Brittany, the receptionist, barely looked up as Alex approached. "Name?" she asked, tapping her acrylic nails on the counter. "Alex." "Trial week," he replied, keeping his tone neutral. She slid a clipboard across the desk. "Fill that out. Group classes are full, so don't expect much." Alex nodded, feeling the sting of dismissal. He moved past a group of fitfluencers, posing for selfies in the best-lit corner, their laughter echoing off the mirrors. The contrast was stark, confidence and privilege on one side, nervous newcomers on the other, clutching their water bottles like lifelines. In the locker room, a young woman fumbled with her lock, her hands shaking. Alex offered a hand. "First day?" he asked. She nodded, relief flickering in her eyes. "Yeah. I'm kind of terrified. Everyone starts somewhere," Alex said, giving her a reassuring smile. Out on the gym floor, the drama ramped up quickly. Jake and Chris, the gym's star trainers, were in their element near the squat racks, surrounded by VIPs in $200 leggings and branded tank tops. When a woman in baggy sweats hovered near the group class door, Jake called out, "This class isn't for beginners," his voice carrying across the floor. Chris laughed, pulling out his phone to snap a photo for his TikTok story. "PeakFit, only the strong survive," he joked, earning snickers from the regulars. Alex watched as the woman's face crumpled. She turned away, shoulders hunched, and disappeared into the cardio section. No one offered help. No one even noticed except Samantha, the new trainer with kind eyes and a quiet strength. She caught up to the woman, offering a gentle word and a steady hand, steering her toward a quieter corner of the gym. Later that morning, during a group workout, Jake singled out another newcomer, a young woman struggling with her form. "Come on, you're barely lifting 20 pounds. Maybe try the kids' class next time," he sneered. Laughter rippled through the room. The woman's cheeks burned as she blinked back tears and hurried out, head down. Samantha followed, her expression fierce with empathy. Alex's jaw tightened. He drifted toward the front desk, where Brittany scrolled through her phone, ignoring anyone who didn't look like a fitness model. He overheard Jake and Chris in the staff lounge, mocking clients, sharing memes, and making inside jokes at the expense of the very people they were supposed to help. But Alex also saw hope. Samantha, despite the snickers from her colleagues, took time with every member, showing a retiree how to use the rowing machine, encouraging a nervous teen to try a new class, and reminding everyone that strength wasn't just about muscle. She moved through the gym with quiet purpose, a lifeline for those who felt out of place. By midday, Alex started talking to the cleaning crew. Maria, who'd worked at PeakFit for 3 years, confided, "We're invisible. Trainers barely say hello. Management only cares if the VIP lounge isn't spotless. And don't even ask about raises." Her words stung. Alex remembered his own early days, cleaning floors and dreaming of something better. He spoke with security, who'd seen trainers turn away anyone who didn't fit the brand. "If you're not in designer gear or don't look the part, you get ignored," one guard said. "It's like a club for the beautiful people." Throughout the day, Alex jotted down names, incidents, and patterns of behavior. He watched as Jake and Chris high-fived after selling an overpriced training package to an influencer, then rolled their eyes at a single mom asking about a discount. He saw Brittany gossip with other staff about losers who couldn't keep up, her laughter sharp and dismissive. But he also saw Samantha's quiet rebellion. She offered encouragement to a man in his 60s, cheered for a shy college student who finished her first circuit, and made sure every member laughed with a smile. Her kindness stood in stark contrast to the toxic culture around her. As the afternoon sun slanted through the gym's glass walls, Alex witnessed the day's most painful moment. A young woman, clearly new, joined a group class. Jake called her out for her form, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You sure you're in the right place?" he jeered. The room went silent, then erupted in laughter. The woman's eyes filled with tears as she fled the room. Samantha shot Jake a look of pure disgust before hurrying after the woman. Alex's heart pounded with anger and resolve. He knew what he had to do. This wasn't just about business. It was about respect, about dignity, about standing up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. By the end of the day, Alex's notebook was overflowing with evidence, stories from the cleaning staff, security, overlooked members, and the brave kindness of Samantha. He left the gym as the city lights flickered on, the neon PeakFit sign glowing against the night sky. Tomorrow, he would dig even deeper. The next steps would be hard confrontations, hard truths, and maybe even firings. But Alex Johnson was ready. He owed it to every member who'd ever felt small, every employee who'd ever been overlooked, and to himself, the kid who once believed that gyms could change lives. Because at PeakFit, the real test wasn't about lifting the most weight. It was about lifting each other up. Stay tuned. You won't believe what happens next. Alex Johnson arrived at PeakFit before the sun had fully crested the Los Angeles skyline, the city still wrapped in a cool 64 degrees Fahrenheit hush. The gym's glass doors reflected the first hints of daylight. But inside, the energy was already pulsing, weights clanging, treadmills humming, and pop music thumping through the speakers. To any outsider, PeakFit looked like the ultimate fitness paradise. But Alex had seen enough to know appearances could lie. Today, he was on a mission, to dig deeper, to find the roots of the toxic culture festering beneath the surface. He started where most bosses never look, the invisible corners. By 6:15 a.m., he found Maria, the overnight janitor, quietly mopping the hallway near the locker rooms. Her uniform was faded, her hands red and cracked from years of scrubbing. Alex offered a warm smile. "Morning. How's your shift going?" Maria hesitated, then shrugged. "It's fine. But people don't really see us. Trainers walk by. Sometimes they leave messes for me to clean up. I don't mind the work, but a little respect would be nice." Alex nodded, his heart heavy. He knew the feeling of being overlooked. "Do you ever get a thank you?" Maria smiled sadly. "Not often. Samantha does, though. She always says hello." That name again, Samantha. The one bright spot in a place that seemed determined to snuff out kindness. Alex moved on, notebook in hand, jotting down every detail. He watched as Brittany at the front desk scrolled through her phone, barely glancing up when a nervous new member asked for help. "Just scan your card and wait for your trainer," she said, voice flat. The woman lingered, uncertain, but Brittany had already turned her attention to a group of influencers laughing by the smoothie bar. Jake and Chris strutted across the gym floor, high-fiving their VIP clients, and making a show of ignoring anyone who didn't fit the PeakFit look. Alex watched as a young man in a baggy t-shirt approached Jake for advice. Jake sneered. "Maybe try the beginner's area, champ." Chris snickered, snapping a photo for his story. "PeakFit, survival of the fittest." He captioned it, earning a round of digital applause from his followers. The air felt colder, despite the sweat and heat. Alex's jaw tightened. He jotted down the exchange, noting the way the young man's face fell, how he drifted to the back of the gym, invisible. Mid-morning, Alex checked the staff lounge. The whiteboard listed VIP training sessions and influencer collabs, but nothing about new member orientation or support. In the corner, he overheard Jake and Chris trading stories about losers who couldn't keep up. "Had one yesterday who couldn't even finish the warm-up," Jake bragged. "Why do they even bother showing up?" Chris laughed, scrolling through his phone for more memes to share in the staff group chat. Alex snapped a discreet photo of the whiteboard, then scrolled through the gym's app on his phone. He found a thread in the staff chat, dozens of messages mocking clients, sharing inside jokes about weaklings, and even a meme of a member struggling with a kettlebell. The cruelty was casual. Routine. He needed more. Alex drifted to the group workout studio, where Samantha was leading a small class. Her encouragement was gentle but firm. "You're doing great, Marcus. That's 5 more reps than last time." Marcus, a man in his late 40s, grinned, sweat rolling down his brow. "I never thought I'd make it this far," he said quietly. "Jake told me I'd quit in a week." Samantha smiled. "You proved him wrong." After class, Alex caught up with Marcus by the water fountain. "You've been coming here long?" Marcus nodded. "Almost a year. But honestly, if it wasn't for Sam, I'd have quit. Jake made me feel like I didn't belong. Sam's the only one who treats me like I matter." Alex thanked him, his resolve hardening. He watched as Samantha took time with every member, showing a retiree how to use the rowing machine, encouraging a college student to try a new class. Her kindness stood in stark contrast to the toxic banter from the other trainers. As the day wore on, Alex gathered more stories. He spoke with security, who shared how trainers would turn away anyone who didn't fit the brand. He listened to Maria and the cleaning crew talk about being invisible, about never getting raises or even a simple thank you. He watched Brittany gossip with Chris about losers who couldn't keep up, her laughter sharp and dismissive. But the most damning moment came late in the afternoon. A young woman, clearly nervous, joined a group class. Jake called her out for her form, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You sure you're in the right place?" he jeered. The room went silent, then erupted in laughter. The woman's eyes filled with tears as she fled the room. Samantha shot Jake a glare of pure disgust before hurrying after the woman, her empathy unwavering. Alex's phone was full of photos of the whiteboard, screenshots of toxic messages, and quotes from staff and members. He'd seen the culture of exclusion and cruelty up close, but also the quiet acts of heroism that flickered beneath the surface. As the sun set, casting long shadows across the gym floor, Alex sat in the corner, reviewing his notes. He watched as Brittany ignored a new member at the front desk, too busy texting to answer a question. He saw Chris laugh with an influencer, while a senior member waited for help. He saw Jake roll his eyes at Samantha, but also saw Samantha lift up every person she trained. By the time the last class ended and the gym lights dimmed, Alex knew he had what he needed. This wasn't just a few bad apples, it was a culture problem, festering from the inside out. He left PeakFit that night with his phone full of proof, his heart heavy but hopeful. Tomorrow, he would reveal the truth. And when he did, no one at PeakFit would ever see the gym, or themselves the same way again. Because sometimes, the real test isn't how much you can lift. It's whether you have the guts to stand up for what's right. And Alex Johnson was ready for the showdown. Monday morning at PeakFit's flagship gym felt like the calm before a storm. The Los Angeles sun was barely up, but the lobby was already glowing with neon and anticipation. Alex Johnson stood in front of the glass doors, heart pounding, knowing that today everything would change. He'd spent days undercover, blending in with the crowd, collecting stories and evidence of the bullying, the body shaming, and the toxic favoritism that had infected his once proud gym. Now, it was time to step out of the shadows and face the truth head-on. He called an all-staff meeting for 8 a.m. just before the gym's busiest hour. The announcement sent a ripple through the team. Brittany, the receptionist, arrived first, arms folded, eyes wary. Jake and Chris, the star trainers, swaggered in with forced bravado, trading nervous glances. Samantha, the new trainer, looked anxious but resolute. Maria from the cleaning crew hovered near the back, her hands wringing a towel, hope flickering in her eyes. Even a few regular members lingered nearby, sensing something big was about to happen. Alex stepped forward, not in his usual CO attire, but in the same gray hoodie and jeans he'd worn all week. He let the silence build, the tension thick as the scent of disinfectant and sweat. Then, in a clear, steady voice, he began. "Thank you all for coming in early. Some of you know me as Alex. But today, I want to reintroduce myself. I'm Alex Johnson, founder and CEO of PeakFit." A stunned silence dropped over the room. Brittany's jaw went slack. Jake's cocky grin faded. Chris looked down at his shoes. Samantha's eyes widened, a mix of relief and pride. Maria straightened, hope blooming on her face. "For the past week," Alex continued, "I've been here undercover. I wanted to see what PeakFit really feels like for our members and our team. And what I found broke my heart." He turned to Brittany. "I saw new members ignored at the front desk, questions brushed aside, kindness replaced by sarcasm. That's not the PeakFit I built," Brittany stammered. "I was just following the script dash." Alex shook his head. "The script is respect. The script is supported. If we lose that, we lose everything." He faced Jake and Chris. "I watched trainers mock clients, call out members in class, and make jokes about people's bodies. I saw body shaming, favoritism, and a culture that rewards only the already perfect. That ends today." Jake tried to defend himself, but his voice faltered. "We were just motivating people, dash. Motivation doesn't mean humiliation," Alex replied, his words sharp but fair. "We lift people up. We don't tear them down." He turned to the rest of the staff. "I read your group chats. I saw the memes, the jokes, the complaints about helping the weak ones. I saw maintenance requests ignored, pay issues left unresolved, and good people made to feel invisible. That's not just disappointing. It's unacceptable." A hush settled over the room. Some staff looked away, guilt flickering in their eyes. Samantha met Alex's gaze, her shoulders squaring with pride. But I also saw hope, Alex said, his voice softening. I saw Samantha stay late to help a new member. Encourage the anxious, and treat every person like they belong. I saw Maria working quietly, keeping this place running, even when no one said thank you. I saw members like Marcus and Emily, who showed up every day, even when it was hard. He paused, letting the words sink in. Today, we change. Effective immediately, Brittany, Jake, and Chris are suspended pending a full review. We will be retraining every staff member on what it means to be part of PeakFit. Samantha, I want you to help lead our new member support program. Maria, you'll be recognized as Employee of the Month and we're hiring more help for your team. A wave of emotion swept through the group. Samantha blinked back, tears, pride and relief mingling in her smile. Maria's eyes shone with gratitude. Even some of the staff who'd been part of the problem looked shaken, as if seeing the consequences for the first time. Alex turned to the members gathered nearby. PeakFit is for everyone. From today, we're launching Everyone Can Be Strong, free classes for all new members, support groups, and a zero-tolerance policy for body shaming or discrimination. If you ever feel unwelcome, my door is open. He looked around the room, his eyes fierce. This is not just a business. It's a promise. A promise to lift each other up, to celebrate every victory. No matter how small. We are stronger together. The staff erupted in applause. Samantha hugged Alex, whispering, "Thank you for seeing us." Alex smiled, his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. As the meeting broke up, staff and members mingled, sharing stories, offering encouragement, and making plans for the new program. The energy in the gym shifted brighter, warmer, more hopeful. Later, as Alex walked the gym floor, he saw real change in motion. Samantha led a group of nervous first-timers, her voice steady and kind. Maria received a standing ovation from the staff as she started her shift. Even Brittany, humbled and quiet, offered a genuine smile to a new member. Jake and Chris, waiting for their review, watched from the sidelines, their bravado gone. Alex caught their eyes and nodded. Everyone deserves a second chance. But you have to earn it. For the first time in a long time. PeakFit felt like the community Alex had always dreamed of. The walls echoed not with gossip or mockery, but with laughter, encouragement, and the steady beat of hope. And as sunlight poured through the windows, Alex knew this was just the beginning. The real work, the work of building each other up, was only getting started. The buzz at PeakFit's flagship gym was different now. It wasn't just the thump of music or the clang of weights, it was the sense that something real had shifted. Word spread fast after Alex Johnson's Undercover reveal. The story had gone viral. The CEO exposed the bullying, the favoritism, and the body shaming that had poisoned the gym's culture. But what happened next? That's where the real transformation began. On Monday, sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, lighting up every inch of the gym's 12,000 square feet. Alex stood at the entrance, not as a stranger anymore, but as a leader with a mission. He watched as members, some new, some regulars, walked in, shoulders a little straighter, eyes a little brighter. There was a new sign at the front desk. Everyone can be strong. It wasn't just a slogan. It was a promise. Samantha, the once overlooked trainer, was now at the heart of it all. She led the new "Everyone Can Be Strong" class, her voice carrying across the studio. "You belong here, no matter where you start," she said, meeting the eyes of a group that ranged from high schoolers to retirees. The atmosphere was electric, but softer too, encouraging, not intimidating. Marcus, who'd once been the butt of jokes, now spotted a nervous first-timer on the bench press. "You got this," he said, grinning. "We're all in this together." Even Maria, the overnight janitor, felt the difference. Trainers greeted her by name. Members thanked her for keeping the place spotless. She moved through the locker rooms with pride, her work finally seen and valued. But the biggest changes were happening behind the scenes. Brittany, Jake, and Chris, once the faces of PeakFit's toxic clique, had been suspended. Their absence was noticed, but not missed. In their place, new staffers brought fresh energy and empathy. Alex made sure every employee attended workshops on empathy, inclusion, and the new zero-tolerance policy for body shaming and discrimination. The message was clear: kindness wasn't optional. It was required. During a staff meeting, Alex stood before his team. His voice steady but full of emotion. "We all made mistakes," he admitted. "But what matters is how we move forward. This gym is about building people up, not tearing them down." Samantha shared her own story, her voice trembling but strong. "I almost quit. I thought I was too soft for this place. But now I see that kindness is strength. Every person who walks through that door deserves respect." The words hit home. Tyler, a young trainer who'd once followed Jake's lead, raised his hand. "I'm sorry for the way I acted. I want to do better." Alex nodded, giving him a second chance. It's never too late to change. PeakFit's members noticed the difference, too. Emily, who had once left a class in tears, returned. And this time, she finished the workout with a smile. "I never thought I'd come back," she told Samantha. "But I feel safe here now." The gym's social media exploded with stories of transformation. Videos of Samantha's inclusive classes went viral. Members posted before and after photos not just of their bodies, but of their confidence. The hashtag everyone can be strong trended for days, drawing in people from miles away. Some drove 20, 30, even 50 miles just to be part of the new PeakFit. Local news picked up the story. CEO goes undercover, cleans house at LA gym. Read one headline. Alex gave interviews, but always shifted the spotlight. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about the community we're building, one where everyone is welcome." The ripple effect was huge. Other gyms in the city started their own inclusivity programs. Trainers from across the country reached out, asking for advice on how to create a culture of respect. Alex shared PeakFit's new handbook, which included everything from fair pay for cleaning staff to anonymous feedback channels for members. One afternoon, as the sun dipped below the city skyline, Alex walked the gym floor. He saw Marcus teaching a group of seniors how to use the rowing machines. He watched Samantha encourage a nervous teen through her first circuit. He caught Maria in the break room, laughing with the front desk staff. It felt like family. But Alex knew the work wasn't done. There would always be challenges, new faces, new problems, new chances to slip back into old habits. That's why he made a point to check in with every department, every week. He listened more. He asked for feedback. He made sure everyone from trainers to janitors had a voice. One evening, Alex gathered the team for a celebration. The gym was buzzing with music, laughter, and the smell of fresh smoothies from the juice bar. He raised a glass and looked around at the faces, some familiar, some new, all changed. "We did this together," he said. "We proved that strength isn't just about muscle. It's about lifting each other up." Samantha smiled, her eyes shining. "We're not just a gym anymore. We're a community." As members shared their stories of overcoming fear, of finding friendship, of finally feeling seen, Alex felt a deep sense of pride. Not for himself, but for every person who'd chosen kindness over cruelty. The camera panned across the gym, Marcus high-fiving a new member, Maria getting a thank you card from a group of regulars, Samantha leading a class full of laughter and sweat. The neon sign outside glowed against the night sky. PeakFit stronger together. And as the video faded out, Alex's voice rang clear. "If you've ever felt left out, if you've ever been judged, know this: there's a place for you here. Share your story in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to join our journey. Because together, we can change what fitness means for everyone."